Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hi, my name is Mark Dalba, and I'm enrolled in GS 120, Life Skills. I selected for my video presentation how to make Cornell notes using Google Docs instead of the Word document. I find Google Docs a little bit easier to use and to learn also. So with that being said, I'd just like to show, first of all, on my screen, how the final results look. This was the assignment where we had to take notes on President Faust's article, What is Discipleship? And I followed the same procedure and created this document. And I like to explain the different parts, and then I'll return to this document at the end of my video to tell you how I did it and what I learned from it. Okay, with that being said, I'd like to show you the notes on Cornell note-taking from the class. I downloaded this document because I think it's a very concise way of describing the Cornell note-taking method. On my screen, you'll see a sheet of paper that is represented here, which is 8.5 by 11. And there are three main areas. The first area, which is the largest field in this column, is the actual note-taking area. And then the column to the left is the Q column, where you reduce what you have written here. And you can see bullet 2 is reduce. So you summarize in ways that you will understand what your notes are using key phrases or maybe even single words. And then at the lower end is the summary section, and we've been calling that the reflection area. So once again, the main points are record, reduce, recite, reflect, review. I've covered these 2 points, record and reduce. Recite is where you review your notes by covering this up and using the key points in the Q column. You recall what you wrote in the main field. And then you reflect. Your reflection is things that come to your mind that give you better understanding of your notes, or perhaps how you apply it, or questions that you might have. And you write them in this section below, which is now here called reflection or summaries. And then you review this process step again, where you return and rinse. So using the Q column, you review your notes here, maybe up to 2-3 times after the initial class. And by the time the exam comes, you'll know this material really well. So with that being said, I'd like to continue on just to demonstrate how to create your template in Google Docs. And I just made a template right here to kind of describe and to show you what it would look like, what the final results will look like. So if you have Google Docs, what you do is if you open up your browser, if you have Chrome, open it up, and I'm opening up my Chrome right here, and you go to the waffle icon, click on it once by left clicking on your mouse, and you'll find your Google Doc drive. Click on it, and you'll have some of your documents already on the drive. Hit the button on the left, as I just did, and move your mouse down to Google Docs. Hover over this tiny arrow and select blank document. A blank document comes up, and what I like to do is name it right away. So I'm going to call this Template Cornell Note-Taking Method. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you could see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is create the columns and rows. So you come to the menu bar on top, select Insert, the drop-down menu appears, and find table. Table is the second one down. Move to the right, just hovering, and light up 2 columns. But what we're going to do is put 3 columns in. So move your cursor down and then left click. And there is the beginning of your columns and rows. So what I like to do is use bold, large font to give the template a name. So I go up to my menu bar again, find the font drop-down menu, and I'm choosing 18 font because I like things large, and I'm going to name this Title. And I could also make it bold, so I could press down on my left mouse button, move it to the left, and hit the big B. There we go. And also, if I want to include some other information, I can put the date down. So move to the font size again, and this time I'm going to do it before I type it in. So drop down menu, I'm going to use 12 font size and type in the word date. And then if I want to change that to unbold, left mouse button again, highlight it by moving the mouse over it, and then hit the big B. There we go again. You can see that it is not bold anymore. Now I'm going to adjust the size. In the model that I had shown you, giving you the dimensions, it is suggested that the left column is 2 and the right column is 6, or rather 2.5 and 6. You can see that when you add those dimensions up, they're going to be edge to edge of paper. So we're going to adjust that a little bit. Take your mouse and hover over any of the borders, starting with the left edge border. And when you see that icon appear, the 2 parallel lines with the arrows, click on it and move it about 1/2 inch. Same thing with the right. Click on it after you hover on it and move it to the right. And then, of course, you want to change the 2 columns. Hover over the line, see that icon appear again. Left click, holding that mouse button down, and move it approximately under the 2 inch, and that'll give you your sizes. Now, if you would like to get fancy, you could add titles. So click inside each box. I like large font, so I'm going to choose 12 here, and I'm going to type in the word Q. In the field, I'm going to type in the word notes. Now, actually the field will get larger as you type in it. So for example, if I hit return, you can see that it's getting larger. I'm going to hit backspace to eliminate. Google Docs does that for you. And then below, I'm going to merge these 2 cells together. And I do that by left clicking, dragging the mouse this time to the right, releasing it, and then right click to open the menu and find merge cells and select, excuse me, by left clicking, and that you can see it's merged. Now to type in the word reflection, I left click inside this cell. I'm going to again select a larger font, this time 18. I'm going to hit bold, and I'm going to type the word reflection. And there you go. You have your template. And so I could save this. Oh, I just realized that I have my automatic save on. So it's already saved for me. And it's found under this name, Template Cornell Note-Taking Method. Now, if I wanted to start using this template, I would open it up and then just give it a new name. So File, and then hit make a copy. And if I see that right now, there it is, make a copy, and there it will open up this window and ask me where I want to save it, which I'm going to keep it in the same place and give it a new name. I'm going to give it a new name. So in this case, I will call it today's date, which is 2018, abbreviated just with an 18, dash, the month, 10, dash, and the day, 06. This way, when saving it, it will put it in numerical order according to the date. And I'm going to select my drive, which is going to be in my personal file. Hit the arrow to the right and pathways. And of course, here's my class, and select and hit OK. There it goes. It has that new name, and I just gave it a date, but I'm going to click on that, left click, and give it a better name. Demonstration. Google Docs Book of Mormon. And here we go. Let's say I attended someone's class at BYU, Idaho, and I type in my nights and the field, and I'll just say the Book of Mormon is the Word of God, period. There are approximately 240 chapters in the book. All of the chapters testify of Jesus Christ. The document is written by prophets, written to the Gentiles in our day. So here I pretend I was taking some notes, and I want to clarify and format this a little bit. So this is perhaps the main topic. I can left click and hold and move my mouse to highlight it. And then I could go up to the menu bar and find bullets, and there we go. Now, after you write your notes down, it is suggested that immediately after class, you're going to write out the key points as cues to summarize this. So maybe for the purpose of this demonstration, I say for purposes of the Book of Mormon. Now you probably could come up with a better key point, but then it relates to these notes. And when I want to recite, which is one of the major steps, you cover this up, and then you just read the key points and recall this area in here. Now, a reflection is things that you might have learned, and I like to number these. So here's a number, and again, I'm writing in 18 fonts, so I hold down my left mouse. Let me try something first. How Google Docs works, you have to put some text in first, and then it'll change the number system to the same font. So scan, moving your mouse, open the drop down, select the desired font size, change it to unbold, and you can see that the number 1 changed. And then type in what you would feel is the connection in your brain, something that you've learned. The Book of Mormon has great meaning for me in that I am coming closer to Jesus Christ by, spell it correctly, by following today's principle. And whatever that principle was, you could expound on it. So there we go. Now I would like to show you something really cool, is that you could add images to your doc. So what you do is you go up to the menu bar and you see the Insert tab right here. Click on it. The drop-down menu appears. And you'll see right at the top, as you hover over it with your mouse, Image. Move it to the right. And we're going to upload an image from any of these sources. It could be from your computer if you have an image, or from the web, from Google Drive, or from your photo album. Wouldn't that be cool to put your photos into the document? Or you could take a picture. And this would be cool if you were in class. You could use your smartphone, take a picture, and then upload the picture. So, for example, even taking a picture of your professor, or taking a picture of a TV screen that's being used in your class, or a chalkboard, and then you could put your notes right there. Take it and then insert it into your field. So in this case, I am going to look for something on the web. So I click on that, and excuse me, I didn't do that correctly. I'm going to close it out. Try that again. Insert, image, search the web. Hit the wrong one. And then on the right-hand side opens up a new window, and it says at the top, search for Google Docs. And I'm going to type in Book of Mormon. You'll see what appears. Oh, look at all these wonderful pictures. So which one am I going to select? Well, I sort of like this one right here. So click on it. You'll see a check mark appears. Make sure that check mark appears, and a window bar pops up at the bottom, and you'll see the word Insert. And wherever your cursor is where this image will appear. So I'm going to place my cursor in the field, in the note field. You can see it flashing. Go back and insert. Takes a few seconds, and there we go. Now look at, oh, this was in Dutch. I'm still going to keep it. Your message to CJ Elliott says, excuse me, I was just getting a notice. Now, to change the size, I click on it, and I take one of these grips, the dial grips, and move it. Wait till the little diagonal icon appears, and just move it to the size you want. And it should not disappear. So, what happened? I'm not sure. So, anyway, there we go. There it is. My goodness. There it is. And I can move it. And I'm going to hit, there is a little text box at the bottom that gives you information on how you want to place it. So let's place inline. Hit that. Okay. And you'll see it disappeared. And I'm going to move it to the location. And there it is. So I think I'm going to have to make a better video on how to place these images, but you get the idea. So when I'm reviewing this document, I may have these images somewhere, or if I want to, I can move the image here, and that could trigger what that means with those points, which may be a great way of reinforcing your learning through pictures, which I love doing anyway. So I'm going to give this a title. Book of Mormon, Book of Mormon, and it saves it automatically, and it should could highlight that, right click, copy, and if I want to change the name, I do that. Highlight it and click on it, and it'll paste it in that title box. Now, one more thing. I'd like to show you my final Google Docs. In this case, I think I lost it. Let me close everything out and see if I could find it. So I go to new window in this case. Use the waffle icon. Find my drive icon for Google. And in my most recent documents, it's not appearing. I don't see it. So I'm going to go scroll down to my folder, my personal content folder. Click on Find Pathways. Hit my course. This is lesson 3. And there's the document. And there we go. And so I just want to show you how I set this up. Here are my notes. Here are some of the pictures I used to help me recall what I wrote. And, this first area is a large crowd followed the Savior when he ministered to the crowd near the Sea of Galilee, so more could hear Christ. And what I did is I summarized the incidents where Jesus ministered to a large crowd by asking Peter to go out to the sea. And so I'm trying to recall each of those things that he did, and I wrote it here. And then the next cue point of my notes is things that happened after Peter let down his net. Actually, Peter obeys. He caught so many fish, the nets broke. Peter called to the others for help in bringing the catch in. Henceforth, Jesus said, "Fear not, thou shalt catch men." So here I did that. You could see how I summarized each of the cues. On the left-hand column, to summarize my notes. And then I added my reflection area, things that I learned. And I'll keep that on for a second. If you want to pause the video, you could read what I learned. And then I also wrote some observations that would help me complete my assignment. Well, in a nutshell, this is how it works. Thank you for watching, and I hope Google Docs will help you take better notes using the Cornell method. Thank you for listening.